I am Joan Wright, and I came to Discovery about 8 or 9 months ago. I am one of 5 children, the oldest. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters. My sister Jerry was diagnosed with MS about 20 to 25 years ago. In the beginning of her diagnosis, she had a type of MS that comes in episodes, and then when the episode was over, she would gain back most everything that she had before, except not quite. And then it progressed to, she got the pneumonia, and she ended up being bedridden. And that happened about 6 months ago, and from then on she was bedridden, and everything basically had to be done for her. She just did not have the energy or the strength to fight it. She was angry with God, and she was angry that people had to take care of her, and took that out on those people, as well as being, she felt like she was being punished. I watched her change, and it broke my heart. She always would say to me, "How can my grandchildren love me? I can't do anything for them." And I just couldn't believe that she would ask those questions. I just couldn't believe. And then what I realized was I was starting to ask those questions. I was starting to say, "God, why does she have to suffer like this? Why can't you reveal yourself to her in a way that she can embrace you and have comfort from you and understand somehow what's going on, how you're using her in this?" I got a call from my nephew, and he said she was in a coma, and the doctor had said she had 24 hours to live. And I was elated. I was so thrilled. I thought God answered my prayer, that she wasn't suffering anymore, and that her death would be imminent, and everything was going to be solved. And it was going to be sad, and I was going to miss her, but this was the best thing for her. My father and some other family members in California went to visit her, and when they got there, my father leaned over the bed and to give her a kiss, and she opened her eyes and said, "Dad, what are you doing here?" And everybody was in total shock. But all of the pain was back, all of the, not her inability to use her muscles, that was all the same. But now, it was like she was getting well, but she wasn't getting well. I was caught off guard by how much I questioned, how deeply I questioned what was happening to my sister. I've seen people be healed. I've seen people change 360 degrees in illness. I've seen people die, and I have never in my heart of hearts questioned like I questioned this. I was so distraught that God would allow this to happen, and I could not, in my mind, understand any reason for it. I kind of closed off. I thought, we prayed, and you answered our prayer, and then you took it back. That's how I felt, that He had taken our prayer back. My sister, who had been bitter and angry, was no longer bitter and angry. And she told me how she'd gone into a coma. She didn't remember any of it, but when she woke up, she was so glad God was there. My brother-in-law called me a few days later, and he said, "When my wife died, that 6 months that we had together was the best 6 months of our whole marriage. He said, I was able to love her and talk to her and tell her things that I had never been able to say out loud before. And I was able to cling to her when she was taking her last breath. And he said, and that can never be taken away from me. And I know it was a gift from God. And I know that my questions were so shallow because I see things from such a just tiny, tiny perspective. And God sees the whole picture. And God knew what he was doing, as always. And it just strengthened my faith 1,000 times to see what happened.